You ready when we're ready from the TV? Okay, fantastic. Time on, please. Okay, use it. Hold, wait. Okay, now. Use it!
You're in again, looking for territory over the head of Danny Kerr, who measures that very nicely over the shoulder.
White hold!
This is taken quickly by Uren.
Ball's gone
hanging
off the
about.
pitch. Play on.
Morahan.
Play on.
Brian will reply in kind.
White, all hold.
Ball's been in play just over 2 minutes.
Yes, now.
Bristol, the last couple of games I've seen them here, have actually
Blue
kicked
hold.
a little bit more, pragmatic, almost
Yes, now.
wanting to encourage the likes of your Tyrone Greens and your Marcus Smiths to run from defence and
Still
back their
holding, well
defence. At
done.
some point, someone will pull the trigger.
Lugo, for those who perhaps uninitiated, what is going on with this kick tennis as we see an end to it through Sheedy? What was the point of it all?
See, it might not look like there's much purpose to it, but there's a huge amount of purpose. You know, if Tyrone Green decides he wants to run or kick this to touch, as he's done here, Bristol have got and made themselves 30 metres, but they've decided to keep the tempo high. Keeping the ball in play means that there will be tired legs from mismatches with the likes of Semi-Randlandras to be able to have those one-on-ones. And that kick tennis has been won by Harle.
Smith got to run and draft it.
So first Charleston points now for Marcus Smith. He's been very, very successful with his kicking this season. These points to leapfrog Paul Burke in the Quins history books. Denied by the post. Atwood's onto it for Bristol. Luatua outside him. O'Connor and Thomas, lovely handling from O'Connor. Here's Thomas working that channel so well, and the Bears in the blink of an eye have gone 50 metres. Quick ball here as well. Sheedy ships it onwards to Morahan. Space opening up. Ramchandra taken early by Brown. Here's Purdy. Tyrone Green does well.
Move out! Well done.
To turn defence into attack, Bears style. Sheedy. Did that go forwards? No, referee's happy. Striding forwards, and under the post he goes.
I think that might be checked, but I tell you what, if anyone deserved to score that coast to coast, this is it here. Benal. Oh no, that's play on. I think that's come off James Chisholm in the tackle.
Yeah, it's okay,
but
mate.
Dave Atwood is the
Goes
quickest to react. Everyone else is looking at the ref. And he sprints in. Is it a sprint? He looks very comfortable, very casual.
Defenders fixing the man, quick hands that created the space for Dan Thomas. Game on.
Too many more departures, given how well everything is beginning to gel now under this new look management structure. Don Brand in the thick of things.
Took their time there, Quins, didn't they? Went to Alex Don Brand at the front, certainly not being rushed.
Mr. Hazen driven back. Okay. For Baldwin. Patience here from Quins, moving quietly through the phases up towards that 22. Care onwards once more, and held by Lamb, but not released in the tackle. Care sets off deep inside the 22. Chisholm continues the movement. Harle thought about giving that and decided to duck the head instead. Here's Smith working it to Esterhazy. Morahan had to be strong there.
It was violated.
It will go low.
Tackle!
Okay, once more to Simmons. Smith did well to hold that. Brown steps inside, but Morahan once more is there. And Bristol swarming over the top of it. And Andradra will... oh, he just couldn't quite resist.
Trying to compete international seats now these days. They're back in the cheap seats.
Here are Quins posing a very serious threat here to Bristol.
Penalty advantage there, I think they've got for Bristol going a little bit early on the lift up.
Care breaks, couldn't quite get that kick away as clean as he'd like. O'Connor's onto it, but the early engagement in the air.
It's a really interesting one because Harlequins and lots of teams, they do just hold their lifters in the air for a split second, which does invite, I think it makes it so difficult as a defending team to get your timing right. But there they go back.
This one's for Dino Lamb. Collapsed in a heap. And Quins have the advantage as a consequence. Esterhazy, passage of that ball is blocked by Nayadi Alokan, and back we come.
The referee might have a word here.
Baldwin to the front and Don Brandt. And they cluster around him. This looks like a really meaty drive. Over they go. Powerful stuff from Harlequins. Hamish Smales is not convinced. Our TMO David Rose might need to step in to assist.
On field, I've got no. Okay, so it's a side entry. Okay, by 8.
Penalty try.
He's the man on
yellow
the ball.
card, really.
The ball being grounded. So that's going to be a penalty try and a yellow card from the break. Okay. Thanks very much.
Well, we arrived at the right decision ultimately. Extraordinary commitment from Bennell, but the first part of it was outside of the law book. So Earl to the bin, Quins with 7, and they've drawn level after 11 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think you can have much complaints about that. It was an excellent back level.
Sheedy picks out Joe Marchant. Came off the bench last weekend for England against Ireland in Dublin. Time was when Harlequins, of course, would lose Burn for Bristol. Down a man. Ball has been stolen. And Will Evans tried to pop that away to Danny Kerr. He's had to tidy it up. Evans enveloped by Dan Thomas.
Use it!
Paddy Loken under this one. Good chase from Caden Murley. Really good chase. He's got his man as well. You're in.
White hold!
Back to the tactical cat and mouse via the boot. You're in. Stepping past Kerr.
It's a hard surface here.
Backwards of White.
He's going to have to play it,
Smith just does enough to escape past the defenders, and
that territory battle is going to be huge today.
Secured by Atwood of Bristol.
Use it!
Once more to the air from Uren. Merley. And stop and go. That appears like gone a long way offside. Smith decides to hoof it regardless. And Uren is waiting.
It's a brilliant kick.
He's found space over the head of Danny Kerr. That is exceptional.
And that's what that kicking duel can do, you know. Mike Brown's gone quickly. That's stayed in field, and Morahan will look to pounce on this now.
Yeah, he sliced that Mike Brown, looking for the tight spiral. It's Morahan exploiting the opportunity in this 5-metre channel. Byrne. Uren. Sheedy, Afoa, tip onto Thomas. Well handled defensively by Esterhazen. Mandrandra. And there are a handful of them as well, aren't there, in the
Inning as well, which helps. Definitely
helps with the smiles. Very sets Bristol on their way. Byrne has it.
You've had your once already.
Getting too much change out of this Quins pack at the moment. Uren will use it now. O'Connor. And that's gone forwards.
This man on the floor's knocked it on. Okay.
Holding the cornerstone really of this
Okay, let's go.
scrummaging effort. Smith, Marchant, Brown. A little bit stuttering here from Quins, but they're beyond the 22. Simmons. Dan Thomas piling over the top this time, but he's got involved in...
Played the 9, you're allowed to counter it, but you can't play the 9.
be a bit disappointed with his players. They're a bit over-eager at the breakdown, aren't they? A couple of times giving away penalties. That's...
Tyrone Green, first receiver this time around. Okay. Chisholm. Dombrand. Smith looking for the chip and chase. A little bit of indecision for a brief moment there, but Morahan's onto it. Oh, the dummy is away. Now the step, and it hits the accelerator. Uren tying in the defenders well. Here's Purdy trying to suck in Tyrone Green, who does his defensive job really well, and then O'Connor wasn't ready for that. Caught him by surprise. Is there something on here for Quins on the counter? Chisholm. Possibly not what Caden Murley was after, but he's made the best of it.
Yeah, not the best quality of pass, but I love the first thought is to run and play before kicking. You know, Morahan, his footwork gets him out of trouble. Uren linking, it's brilliant. And then Harlequins turn the ball over, and this is the control which we're talking about. Both teams having a go.
And Green has won it exceptionally well from under the nose of Callum Sheedy as well.
What a take that was. He was second best all day long for that, and he just plucked it out of the air.
Tipped on by Lamb. Smith going really wide. That's better for Murley. He's going to take on Adia Loken now. Pops it up for Chisholm. Again, they keep it alive. Dombrand. One-handed off the deck to Danny Kerr. And that's ended up with John Afoa. And Bristol now are going to chance their arm. Randrandra. Sheedy. Just beginning to break open, isn't it?
This could roll dead. If he gets the wrong bounce, he gets the right bounce.
Oh, tricky one for Mike Brown, and Purdy's onto him.
Ali, I know a real bugbear of yours is getting water carriers on the pitch, but I think we can forgive them if they want to come on at some point this first half.
Hydration will be key this afternoon, maybe even this evening. Danny, you get torn apart, won't you? Are you satisfied you're doing that?
Yeah, I think it's been there for about 2 years now, so we've built on those aspects of the game as well.
Thanks for your time, Nick.
No worries, thanks.
Once played a bit, Nick Evans.
He was alright at rugby, that fella.
What have Bristol got up their sleeve here? Making useful ground. Marler's having to be removed from the equation to allow for Ured to get at the ball. Here's Atwood. Defended by Chisholm. Referee's happy with that. Sheedy in heavy traffic.
Use it.
Atwood, who's been carrying so well in the last few weeks. Ever willing on that front, as has Brian Byrne. He's been prolific with it.
Hamish, that was only one arm, it was not an attempt to grasp.
Inside ball for Purdy, and in fact Bristol now do have the advantage on account of the not quite no arms tackle, but what about that for the offload from Randrandra? A moment of brilliance, it might just open things up here. Here he is again, the Fijian.
Tackle! You have a penalty advantage.
Afoa. Handled by Baldwin. Uren, nice flat pass, and Byrne smuggles it away to Fitzharding. Only been on the field a couple of minutes. He's just notched up the Bears' second try of the afternoon, and they've turned up the heat at all.
Advantage. Randrandra goes route one, but look at that lovely little offload inside. Willing runners. Beautiful little offload from Byrne.
Just having a quick look at the last pass.
Just checking whether now it's forward or not. Looks okay.
Only this week signed his first senior contract with the Bears. This is only his 7th first team appearance.
And they've doubled their own score.
Oh, back on the field, and there he is, gathering in the restart. Challenge from Marchant.
Use it.
Atwood. Will Evans making yet another tackle. He's been so good for Quins this season. Bouncing bomb for Ben Hill to deal with. Danny Kerr has stolen it, and he's going to score in the corner. Picked his pocket, Danny Kerr. He'll be loving that. And immediately, Quins have a response to Bristol's own score.
Well, poor old Ben.
Again, looks like those days are done. Could he be a Lions bolter?
Oh, you'd like to think that.
End up walking through the Harlequins defence. So it might look like poor, but having numbers at the line as well as deception in behind is what has created that try.
What was really nice, Ugo, when you like with those two runners, is they actually ran at space as well.
Yes.
They didn't run at defenders. Too many players line up a defender and run at them. The whole idea is to run at the space, which is what created the try.
Harlequins are defending with 14 at the moment. Joe Marchant's down.
Yeah, there are bodies all over the place. Their defensive line is kind of everywhere. That's going to roll much too far for Bristol's liking.
Yes, it's just what Quins needed really, with a couple of men getting treatment. That doesn't look good, does it?
It's really important on a hard surface like this. This is a football pitch, and it's a brilliant surface.
So Murley is seemingly okay. Marchant
going for the secondary.
Use
Quins.
it now. Not moving.
Esterhazy. It takes a minute stopping, didn't they? Kerr. And onwards.
Well on the ball.
Chisholm sets it up. Kerr once again pops it on its way. Esterhazy at close quarters. Brian Byrne makes the tackle. Smith now. Brown. Marchant. Will test out any vulnerabilities.
To look comfortable in that contact, did he?
Everybody's let that go so that Chisholm can mop it up on the 10-metre line.
Stop three, stop.
Kerr. Quite getting the balance that he was after in front of Morahan. Throws the dummy here, the Australian. Tyrone Green chasing back, and he's shaken off by Henry Purdy. Still streaking down that left wing, running out of space and options, and the tackle is made by Smith. But once more, in a flash, Bristol have made some.
Smith He just shepherds him into touch. But look at that, lovely little dummy, show and go. Links up, connects with Purdy on the outside.
They'll be frustrated that Purdy's gone into touch, but in terms of an exit routine in inverted commas, they wouldn't have kicked the ball that far. They've gone up the pitch, not single phase. Now they've won the ball back.
Yeah, they've won it. And Brian Byrne is setting off, floored by Marler. He is so good at close quarters. Joe Marler defensively goes so low. Quins looking to rip the ball.
First one in the line,
Twice now from Benal. Got stripped by Danny Kerr, then Marcus Smith, but get the advantage from the good work of the line out. A close inspection of it himself.
All set up here for Bristol.
Okay, let's go.
Pops it to Uren. Here's Randrandra. Has to pick it high out of the sky. O'Connor's thrown a loose one. Earl will tidy. That has not gone to plan. Maybe they can make something of it though, regardless.
You can see the initial thought to get it to semi very quick.
Thomas and a fair old rattle. So much. Well, we need to see what's going to unfold here, don't we? There are so many options. Harlequins just beginning to spread wide now as well on the drift. Here's Randrandra. Oh, how has he done that? Piers O'Connor is the beneficiary. Semi Randrandra yet again, weaving magic spells all over Ashton Gate. And Bristol have tried number.
Connor knew exactly what was coming. He knows that Semi's got that in his locker.
We saw this 2 weeks ago, but it was Charles Peart out 10. I mean, if I'm Piers O'Connor, I love playing this back line because all I do is chase Luke Morahan, Semi Randrandra.
Curled in
to do that.
Always nice when you know somebody can suck in 3 different defenders and get the ball away nicely. Piers O'Connor, all his Christmases have come at once.
You know what, Quins have defended well in this half, to be honest, and yet they've conceded 3 tries.
Still they play from 5 metres out. Purdy puts boot to ball.
White out.
In trusts Morahan.
He's run 5.
Let's go through the middle. He's straightened nicely. Sets the target. Uren. Purdy. Atwood. Just seeking soft shoulders. Quins trying to get over the top of that. Uren now looking for a little bit of extra ground. He's overcooked that. Straight out on the full. On account of the fact that Mike Brown took it in.
No.
Well, Mike Brown.
No. I mean, that's a bad decision.
What did Bristol make of it? Whip on the pass from Uren. Here's Randrandra. Oh, so near. And yet so far.
That was the bonus point.
Tyrone Green has done a good job here for Harlequins, and this is Marler now.
I don't know what's the matter with him. He should have caught that one. What's up with you, mate? I mean, you know.
He's overrated. Do you know what? I'm chuffed because sometimes you do oversell matches. You do, don't you?
Okay,
you hope for the best, and often it's a flop. But today, with 5 tries, 35 points.
Timing's fine.
Okay. Awkward after getting the kick away. He's still down on his haunches. Here's Morahan crossing halfway in the meantime. And it's a Bristol penalty.
You guys can get on the ball.
Morahan's tough up the 22.
Oh, it may have gone
he's gone for broke, hasn't he?
Very good Bristol mauling side.
Set. Stay behind the ball. Use it.
Quins looking to squeeze this still further up to halfway, but we'll be
That's what we said beforehand.
resetting that.
Front of the rewards, we've got to get go forwards on both sides.
Chris Robshaw and Sarah Hunter will be looking ahead to Europe, of course, next weekend.
Set.
And the start of the Women's Six Nations too.
Okay, use it now. Use it.
There's pressure here on Danny Kerr. English Smale's just beginning to lose his patience, you think. Esther Hazen. battering forwards once again. Those Bristol defenders in the midfield channel, that 10 channel, will really know they've been in a scrap this afternoon.
When you're on the ground, you've got to be on your feet to tackle him.
Really good work there from Quins, from Danny Kerr particularly. One, to get the ball away under immense pressure.
To tackle the next man that picks the ball up.
And then, secondly, just to earn his side the penalty, Marcus Smith making sure with this kick.
And eke penalties out of defences.
Important moment this, as we head to the final minute of this half. Baldwin looking for a slick line-out routine here. A lot of movement. Taken in by Simmons.
Backwards off the mark. We've had you once. Back foot, back foot. Use it now.
Care for Marchant. Evans. Bundled in the tackle that time. Simmons again. Back to the open side. Chisholm making good ground. Held on to by Atwood. Harlequins going to turn up the temperature a little bit here. Darren Thomas is very nearly over that. Smith accelerates into the space. Here's Murley. Good tackle from Alia Loken.
Hands away one. Well done.
Chisholm. Again, look at Thomas, scavenging for all his worth. Evans did well to hold that.
Advantage, penalty.
Atwood, was that high? It was. Advantage with Quins. Watch Danny Kerr carefully.
Leave the ball too.
Yeah, interesting decision now. Harlequins have had 2 entries into the 22 so far this half and scored 2 tries. Clock's in the red. I mean, I
think if there was a build-up of penalties, you might go for it, but as it turns out, it's an extra 3.
Rosie, you there, please? Peter, are you there as well? Great, thanks.
Well, Warren Gatland's picked a decent day, hasn't he, to come and see the Premiership in action.
Okay, time on.
Enjoyed the rugby on show in that first half and hoping for much more of the same in this.
So here's Luke Northmore. He's the one change to the Quins setup. Caden Murley not making it out after the break. So they've put Marchant on the left wing. Northmore, who played really well last week against Gloucester, a couple of tries, made a whole heap of breaks and did lots of good things beating defenders. He's into the midfield for Harlequins. In the meantime, Purdy for Bristol. And straight over the top of that, but Henry Smales didn't like the entry from Harlequins that time.
Okay, you've got to come through the gate.
Yeah, he didn't sort of retreat back round and through the gate. He's frustrated, but I think it was the right call from the referee.
That's allowed for Sheedy to pick off decent field position here.
Here we are, Jets here.
Didn't take too much off that one, did he? He's learned from his mistake, and Bristol will get the first attacking opportunity.
Well, now he got on the ball first before he got his hits back round. Side entry.
Uren. Sheedy juggles with it. Randrandra arriving at speed.
He's lifted.
Well handled for the moment. The inside ball, I didn't know it worked out initially, but here comes Morahan skipping past Tyrone Green, and that one won't quite end up in the hands.
He is electric with his footwork today. Morahan just leaves your man for dead there, doesn't he? I think it's Tyrone Green, isn't it? Just stands him up.
I'm not sure it was on purpose. You're all right, though.
Couldn't quite affect the offload.
Just hold there, please, Blue.
Starting at fullback as well today. No Charles Piatow, a little bit of an Achilles problem at the moment. He'll be reintegrated back into training next week, though, we understand. So they'll be hopeful of having Charles Piatow available for their trip to Bordeaux in Europe. Fine clearance from the base.
Yeah.
Ball to Atwood. Lovely ball delivered on a plate to Uren. Sheedy. Little delay on the pass, and Purdy needs a bit of assistance. And that's Harlequins' ball.
Yes, against Semi Randrandra.
Sort of knelt into it, didn't he?
Yeah, weren't quite as fluent as their best, you can see, and then it's a good tack from Northmore. Semi then, it goes off his feet and he's in at the side.
The Simbin opportunity for this man who doesn't miss much.
Sidled in ahead of Paul Burt now, on account of his successful kicks through that first half. And there's nothing wrong with that either.
Scrum in the 39th minute, but 2 penalties, and they're within 1 point of Bristol Bears, so just chipping away at that lead.
Northmore, driven back by Andy Alokan and Thomas.
Use it.
It's really important now. I mean, Danny Care's last kick was very good, but they've got to get the detail right, because guys like
To the tail.
Beyond 15 now.
Burn. Taken behind the goal line. Scott Baldwin really quickly up, trying to make some space for Andy Alokan, who's having trouble getting away. Tyrone Green clinging onto the boot.
Yeah, haven't got their detail right in the last couple of bits of play. It cost them 3 points and didn't quite get it going from right to left there, which has forced Andy Uren to kick the ball. And the detail in that hasn't got that right. We'd wanted that to potentially be a little bit more contestable, but either way. Here we go.
Morahan to Randrandra. Crossfield he goes, bringing in Thomas. After collisions, not just a fall rather awkwardly there, Dan Thomas. Doesn't look too comfortable.
No, it doesn't, does he? Tell you what, give Danny Care a bit of credit. Wasn't the most technical.
Nice delivery this time. And Quins up the middle through Donbrandt. Baldwin checks his run, little tip on from Chisholm. For Evans, dynamic runner. Makes it up to that 10-metre line. Smith drives it forwards.
The way that his team have started this second half.
Bowie with line-out ball. Here's O'Connor. What a season he's had. He's played the full 80, by the way, Piers O'Connor, of 14 rounds. On the bounce to Brian Byrne, he somehow stayed in field. Here's Purdy. Purdy opening up. We saw last week the acceleration he has. Tyrone Green has his number. Brown working so hard over the ball, and Quins winning the decision. Evans swiftly there to assist.
Enough separation there to win inside the penalty.
The same hunger in attack as he is in defence.
Lots of good options in that back three for Quins. All new front row for Bristol. Lahith, Capon and Sinclair onto the field to give them a little bit of extra impetus. Sinclair back from England duty, obviously.
That was a good throw from Scott Baldwin, right on the money there, right on the 15-metre line. Just make sure that they don't try and do too much with it.
Smith, not too many options on via the hand, so the boot was the best option. Marchant's done really well to stay on his feet. Now needs to link up with sufficient numbers of teammates. Care tried to stab it through.
Could see what Danny Care was thinking there.
Sinclair, oh, that's wild. And Simmons is after this. Uren is boxed in. Oh, somehow he's wriggled out of trouble. Brilliant bit of work from Andy Uren. And they've now got the penalty to ease their pain deep inside the 22.
You see the pain on Will Evans' face.
Well, he's gutted there. Put his side in a bit of trouble. Andy Uren gets him out of trouble with that lovely little footwork. Just thought Will Evans a little bit unlucky. Referee said he spent a little bit too long on the...
Yeah, he's been listening to his Viking drums, talking to his ancestors. He's ready to go. It's spilt in midfield by Bennell, who perhaps has not had his crowning glory today.
Yes, this is the first time I've celebrated that, a knock-on, so we can get a scrum.
First knock-ons over here.
So Heaves talking to...
Bind. Set.
All friends here.
I don't care if we get 10 resets here, to be honest.
Lads, just make sure we keep less of the chat so we can get the calls right first. Set.
Jones has done so much across the course of both of their careers, Sinclair and Marler. Decent scrum here from Quins, picked up by Dombrandt. Kerr to Smith, and it's loose.
Backwards.
And Green is looking to mop up here. Fitzharding in amongst it. First part of that counter-ruck was decent. Smith, recognising there wasn't an awful lot on to the open side. What a kick that is from Marcus Smith. Yeah. And I tell you,
that's what stands him out as, for me, one of the best players in the Gallagher Premiership.
Came on to Vui. Decent drive this from Bristol. Oh, making
Advantage, penalty.
great strides. And with a penalty advantage off the back of that drive.
Penalty advantage.
O'Connor, Sheedy, Randrander in space. Northmore over chasing. Here goes Morahan. Throws the dummy. Brown sucked in. That one didn't go to hand. Randrander overran it. And Marchant now has it for Quins. Stolen back by Ben Earl of Bristol.
That's a great turnover from Ben Earl. Might be turned back over now though.
No, holding.
What a result that is for Quins. In actual fact, over the ball.
But I know I've spoken about Semi quite a bit, but it's his variety of passing which is so unique. His ability to be able to hold the ball one-handed, no look into.
So it tells you Danny Kerr's loving his rugby again, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think we're all loving our rugby today. You know, I don't think you have to be a Bristol or Harlequins fan today to be able to enjoy what we're watching right now.
Outside.
So via the Kerr boot, Quins are now in front.
Right, let's go.
Bristol, by the way, beaten at Ashton Gate just 4 times in the last 2 years.
Use it.
Sale, obviously, the latest to do that.
Just watch that, Jack.
Last month, by late tries, Nizam Kar, you might remember, for Wasps, and Billy Keast for Exeter. So it really does take an awful lot of effort to get the job done here away from home. Quins can smell it. Evans to the boot. There's a lot of space in that backfield. Randrandra is chasing back, but here comes Danny Kerr. Randrandra ducks under one.
Use it.
That's a good option, wasn't it? The little boot in behind. Apply the pressure.
Will just take the clearance. Marchant though wants to go. Quins wants to go. Smith absolutely happy to do that, but just lost his footing, and Sheedy got the tackle away.
Yeah, a couple of different decisions there. You can hear Danny Kerr screaming no, but Joe Marchant wanted to play with tempo.
Marchant, Evans, the ball knock on. It's knock on by Bristol from that pass. That's the ruling from the officials.
I think it's really important the next 10 minutes or so. I mean, you can see a bit of fatigue coming into this at the moment. Chris Vui's put an absolute...
A lot of us here play the Quins, they're going well.
Thanks, Pat.
Cheers.
A little bit of disgruntlement there, quite obviously, over the lopsided nature of the penalty decisions, but they have to solve that on field, don't they? Dan Thomas doing his level best over the ball. He's been pinged again.
But this is what Pat Lamb's talking about. I mean, that
It's not down. It's a number of penalties. These tacklers have got to get out before they come back in.
just so blatant and obvious. You know, it's a great tackle. Alex Dombrandt's under pressure. And Dan Thomas.
Queensland inside the 22. Chisholm through the hands, and it's Bristol's ball. Randrandra will take on Northmore. He spilt it. So he's had his moments of pure magic. There have also been one or two little rusty.
So here's our mark,
Scott
please.
Baldwin coming off, Joe Gray coming on, Wilco Lowe.
So we need to make sure we've got some
His
good
day's
height.
done.
Make sure
Simon
we keep
Kerrod
height,
will
please.
come onto the
Height,
tight head
height, gents.
for Harlequins.
Time is back on, please.
Marle's got to dig in. He doesn't get a breather.
Crouch.
Toe to toe once more, head to head at least with
Bind.
Carl Sinclair.
Set.
Decent shot here from Harlequins. It's a right old scramble, and Chisholm
Just come
a little
sideways.
overexcited with Ben Earl.
Just come sideways. No one's going forward. Set.
Looks more solid from the Bears. Earl pops it out. Oh, trouble. Harlequins got it away. Somehow or other, a little bit of breathing space, but for how long? Brown opens it up. Green. What a tackle that is from Manzandra. Did so well. Stopped him in his tracks.
Mike Brown did brilliantly as well to mop that up.
See Marcus Smith in the pocket.
Moving back into position here. That was loose from Marle. Picked up by Northmore.
I'm not trying to sound boring, because it's so tight and there is fatigue, and there's only 20 minutes to go. This middle third, discipline and control is just so important. A couple of times we've seen players trying to play and it's not quite paying off, and I think this is a far more pragmatic and potentially better tactic.
That was a cracking box kick, wasn't it? Beautifully weighted. Uren did well.
Let's go.
Yeah, so far, game management from Harlequins has been outstanding. I think Danny Kerr, Marcus Smith just playing the percentages which you couldn't have said for much of this game.
9, let's go. Play.
Mike Brown. And Brandra straight in front of him. He goes to ground and Kerr swiftly into position. Chisholm. Tackled by Laheath.
Use it.
We're back where we started.
Use it. 9, let's go.
Marching in the chase. Morahan, eyes up. Oh, taken a little bit early. Missed time tackle from Marching.
Just a tackle.
As you see, Joe Marchant is frustrated because through bodies.
Dan Thomas mostly.
I genuinely, it bugs me, and this is as a back three player. Just clear that channel.
So it tends to be very cluttered.
It does, but if you're going to slip field behind the ball, you're in front of the ball, you're out of the game.
Fair point.
Scrum advantage.
Here's Evans for Harlequins. They're playing with another advantage. Joyce is on for Atwood and Leua for Harlequins. For Bristol. Kerr looking for territory, but he's sent it down the throat of Uren.
Well done. Thank you. Yep.
Smith will send this skywards.
Oh, this could roll long if Morahan doesn't leave it. He's opted to play it.
Blue, same again. Holding. Well done.
Spiral bomb this. Go on.
Wait.
This one's for Sheedy. Oof. Big tackle from Brown. Well timed, that one. Very well timed.
Just not done in the tackle back 50.
Really committed from Mike Brown. Got his timing absolutely spot on, and Callum Sheedy knew exactly what was coming. Just knocks it on. Accidentally, of course, so Bristol will get the put in. It was a lovely kick. It's hanging up there long enough.
Here's Brandra straightening. Smith does the job. Very nearly the intercept, but the ball is away to Leua. Tearing towards Marching. Good tackle made. Long as he lays the ball back. Capon to Sheedy. Earl steps back against the grain. Bears desperate to settle back into their patterns once more. O'Connor, Brandra, Sheedy. Uren, and through the fingers and into touch.
Very bright what Andy.
Taken in by Tom Lauday, who's come on for Chisholm in the back row for Quins. Signed a new contract this week. Former Exeter man. Taking clean at the back, and Marla has it.
Release!
Being wedged.
Laheef getting down and dirty. Smith to space. Again, just slide rule minutes and none since. The game is there to be won. Fitzharding climbs highest for the Bears on early on, of course, today, owing to Stephen Luatua's injury. And Uren's got underneath that. I just wonder if there's a little bit of frustration. Joe Gray in his second spell with Harlequins now. Decent line out. And that look forwards from Danny Kerr. Esterhazen in a hurry. Here's Marchant. Under the sticks he goes. And Hamish Smales is happy. I wasn't totally convinced, I must be honest, about the Kerr delivery. But Marchant, all smiles. Harlequins stretching out.
Yeah, I've got him.
If you look at where he. So we've got light green and dark green, haven't we, in terms of the lines. We need to see the first angle again, I think, for it to be conclusive. Let's have a look here.
The optics of it aren't that brilliant because, of course, Danny Kerr stops. I mean, that does look well forward. I appreciate he takes a step back, in fact, which exaggerates the movement. But
still checking.
This is the angle. This is the angle. So that doesn't look forward.
I think that's flat, but people will be tagging me on Twitter now.
I can't give you any conclusive evidence that the ball went forward from the pass. It looks okay from what we can see.
It's going to be allowed.
Of Randrandra, but Esterhazen, to his credit, he's come up with one of his own, the same way as Randrandra mentioned, and that is a big score. Just have a look at this for an offload. Broom out the side door.
It's lovely. What will get forgotten is the two kicks that got them into that position. It's that control with that level of execution which has really been that point of difference. It's a 9-point lead, and they're through the 3 penalties that Marcus Smith took between the 40-minute mark and I think the 60.
Danny Kerr in trouble at the base, but yet another penalty goes against Bristol. What is that now? Number 14?
Yeah. Any game.
Yeah, I did. I'm just looking now.
Any level when we conceded 3 times the amount of penalties as your opposition.
Yeah, Pat Lamb will point to some of the major decisions going against his team, but
penalties as your opposition.
Yeah, Pat Lamb will point to some of the major decisions going against his team, but
plenty of meat left on the bone.
Get up. 64. On the spot.
Simmons sets it up. Quins trundling forwards effectively. Evans beyond halfway. Kerr sensing there might be space in the backfield. Leua in position. Not looking enormously confident. Marchant has done enough to disrupt it. It's gone forwards though. And it will be Bristol ball.
It's actually fairly inconsequential at the moment whether the ball goes forward.
Set!
Not sure that's done the job for Bristol either. Huge pressure from Harlequins. Scrum penalty. And the Tide firmly behind the Londoners now.
Tied contenders now.
And Marcus Smith is at the heart and he's been steering Quins into all the right positions at all the right moments. 33-21 they lead away from home with 7.5 minutes to play. A bonus point up for grabs, of course, if they secure their 4th try.
So good at that first carry, Joe Marler. He's been there, care to Marler so many times in this game, just carrying it up, doing the hard yards.
Danny Kerr just caught by Dan Thomas.
Could be a penalty the other way.
Yeah, the scavenging this time paying off.
I'd be furious, Danny Kerr, just a little stray boot at the base of the jump in there.
These moments. Capon over the top, but they've got a penalty. Quins ill-disciplined in the line-out. And we'll go again.
This Bristol team, Lawrence, you mentioned it before the game, didn't you? I mean, last season they scored more tries from line-outs than any other team in the Premiership. Yes, they've got all the flash stuff, but they've got a lot of grunt up front. Massive moment.
They've got to score it under this amount of pressure as well when they're behind on the scoreboard.
Joe Joyce is the jumper of choice. Thomas is there, he's got some backs for company. Randrandra and Pietau are in the thick of it. Now the driving game. Dan Thomas still with the ball. Marchant clinging on. Thomas for the line. Yes! Try. Bears fighting to the last. Determined to take this contest all the way.
It's a massive moment, but
it's time for Bristol.
Yeah, Hamish, he's short, and then we get blocked by 16. So we haven't got any further evidence from there, but on that shot there, he's just short.
Okay. And then
so
we think we'll get the ball held up after that.
Yeah, then go back to your penalty call.
Fine, so that penalty is for the winger side entry, and he is the man who tackles him early. So
he may well yellow card
stop
him,
the possible try. So it's going to be a penalty try and a yellow card in that case if it's not scored.
It's going to be a penalty try.
It's consistent.
Yeah. Winger, please.
Yeah.
It's going to be a penalty
so
try.
A yellow card for Marchant.
Yes.
He's going to the bin. 7 points. Callum Sheedy's happy now because he doesn't even have to take the conversion. And now it's 33-26 with less than 5 minutes to go. It's everything we had hoped for.
And it's the correct decision. You know, Ben Earl went to the bin in the first half for exactly the same thing. And it's the fourth try now, the bonus point try for Bristol. So they're definitely going to lead with something, but now they're after the win.
They've currently got 2 points, haven't they? They're in
Time's off.
with 5 points and got the bonus point, but they'll be wanting more than that. Detail on this kick and the gather and how they exit their 22 is so important now.
Here's Marcus Smith. Northmoor just setting off a little bit early, but it's there for Ben Earl, who's taking care of business in the first instance. Laude making the tackle, or at least providing the obstacle. Here's Joyce for Bristol. Sheedy, Randrandra, Morahan in his slipstream. It's gone forwards from Morahan, and Quins will be thrilled with that.
For the table team like Bristol, who themselves have been in very, very good form.
And in possession of the ball. That's gone forwards. Hit his hand, presumably it did. Yep, the arm is outstretched, and the Bears looking to counter through Leua. First cluster of defenders are dismissed. Mike Brown now has it. The ball ending up with Harlequins again, and Brown setting the target. Possession, everything here.
Did brilliantly there, Mike Brown. Just held his team, just held his feet, and just bought his team a little bit of time.
Kerr drops it up to Joe Gray. How early can you start thinking about running the clock down, Lawrence?
Well, ask Bruce Doolan.
Penalty Bristol.
Massive, massive moment. Tell with this kick from Callum Sheedy.
Just about to say that Quins went into sort of ultra defensive mode there, almost stopped playing, which you can't afford to do. 78 minutes on the clock. Dombrand almost went straight to ground, didn't he, and paid the price.
Well, the guy kicking the ball here, Callum Sheedy, he was on the pitch, wasn't he?
do they go up in the air? Challenge for the ball.
Capon to Joyce, smuggled away to Chris Bowie. Thomas has it now. Bristol go to work. Harlequins just beginning to splinter. Clock in the red. Still, it's with Bristol and it's Sinclair against his former club. Kyle Sinclair drives the knife into Harlequins. Conversion to come. Conversion to win it.
Look at his face. He couldn't be happier. It's been a tough Six Nations, but he's come back home. Performance off the bench. I mean, it's been a right battle in the scrum. Discipline.
Then Callum Sheedy, heroic for Wales. Is he the hero for Bristol? Struck it well. He's delivered, and Bristol steal it at the death. Everything you could possibly want from a Gallagher Premiership match. Drama and twists and turns and brilliance in equal measure. Bristol the winners. Marching onwards to the playoffs. Quins crestfallen, having given everything. Today so close to taking out the league leaders, but it's a Bears day, and they put one of their prime challengers away right